we need to talk. I'm sure by now we've all seen the SelfCare Sunday trend, right? You know, the bath bombs, the candles, and the 15-step skincare routines that make it look like self-care is this blissful, magical thing we do once a week. But what if I told you that real self-care isn't just about spa days? Shocking, I know. Today, we're going to break down what self-care really is. It's not just about eliminating the bad. It's about nurturing the good within yourself, your routines, and yes, even in your relationships. How to truly protect your peace and mental health in a world that's constantly pulling you in a million directions. So let's get into it. Hey everyone, welcome back to Sthirvana. I'm Udit. Let's get started with the foundation. You. Here's the hard truth. You can't expect to protect your peace if you don't take care of yourself first. And I'm not talking about treating yourself to a shopping spree. I'm talking about the gritty, everyday stuff like sleep, food, movement, and mindset. Yes, the boring stuff. Look, sleep is non-negotiable. I don't care what hustle culture is telling you, but your body needs to rest to function. So the next time you find yourself scrolling through TikTok at 2 a.m., stop. Sleep deprivation isn't a badge of honor. It's an invitation to burnout. Same goes for your diet. Don't think for a second that you can fuel your mind on processed junk and then wonder why your anxiety is through the roof. Your body and mind are connected. Give them what they need. And also, let's talk movement. You don't need to be a gym rat, but you do need to move your body regularly. Whether it's yoga, walking, dancing, or even stretching. It's about creating a habit that feels good for you. Exercise isn't punishment. It's an investment in your peace. Trust me, when your body feels good, your mind follows. Self-care is showing up for yourself consistently. Not once a week, not when you're about to break down, every single day. It's the boring stuff, but that's what builds the foundation of peace. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Boundaries. And no, I'm not going to jump into the usual cut people off speech. Before you even think about setting boundaries with others, you need to set them with yourself. That's right. How many of you have broken promises to yourself lately? You say you'll take a day off, but then you find yourself working overtime. You promise yourself you'll stop engaging in negative self-talk, but there you are, spiraling in a loop of self-doubt. Does that sound familiar to you? Here's the truth. If you can't keep boundaries with yourself, how can you expect to enforce them with anyone else? You've got to get real about your priorities and make yourself one of them. That means following through on the commitments you make to you. Whether that's shutting off work emails at 7 p.m., journaling in the morning, or taking a mental health day when you need it. It's about building trust with yourself. Because if you're constantly letting yourself down, how are you going to have the energy or resolve to protect your peace when someone else tries to cross the line? Set those internal boundaries. They matter just as much, if not more, than the ones you set with others. All right, now let's talk about relationships. Because let's face it, other people can make or break our peace. But here's the kicker. Self-care in relationships isn't about cutting off everyone who annoys you. It's about learning how to foster healthy connections while maintaining your peace. First things first, communication is your best friend. We can't expect people to respect boundaries they don't even know exists. Whether it's your partner, friends, or family, being upfront about what you need is key. This is where the hard part comes in. Vulnerability. I know it's not easy, but being open about what you need to protect your mental health is crucial. If you don't speak up, resentment starts building. And trust me, that is a fast track to stress. But let's be real. Sometimes, even with good communication, some people just don't respect your peace. This doesn't always mean you need to cut them off. It might just mean rethinking how you engage with them. Maybe it's reducing how much time you spend together or changing the dynamics of the relationship. You don't have to go nuclear every time somebody crosses a boundary. It's about creating balance between giving to others and protecting your own space. Remember, you don't need to throw away every relationship that gets tough. Real self-care is about figuring out which relationships are worth the work and which ones aren't. And here's where we need to take a collective deep breath. Perfectionism. The pressure to have everything under control all the time is exhausting. Newsflash, you're not supposed to have everything figured out. You're not supposed to be the perfect employee, a perfect parent, a perfect friend, or a perfect partner 24/7. Self-care is about letting go of the need to always be on and accepting that it's okay to drop the ball sometimes. You're human. You're allowed to mess up. You're allowed to rest. You're allowed to ask for help. We live in this culture that celebrates being busy and glorifies overwork. But here's the thing. Your worth isn't defined by how productive you are. Your peace isn't dependent on achieving everything on your to-do list. It's about realizing that sometimes doing less is the most powerful act of self-care. Give yourself permission to slow down. Give yourself permission to be imperfect. That's where true peace lives. All right, now let's dive into one of the hardest self-care practices that most of us struggle with: saying no. And I mean saying no unapologetically, without guilt, without over-explaining, and without the fear of being the bad guy. Let me break it down for you. You don't owe everyone a yes. Protecting your peace means understanding your limits, both physically and emotionally. Yet for some reason, we've been taught that saying no is selfish. Like if you're not constantly bending over backwards to accommodate everyone else, you're somehow failing as a human. Spoiler alert, you're not. The guilt we feel when we say no, it's a direct result of being conditioned to prioritize other people's needs over our own. We feel like we're going to let someone down, or worse, they'll think that we are unreliable or not supportive. But here's the truth. Saying yes to things that deplete you is the route to burnout. It's not noble, it's not admirable, and it's certainly not self-care. So here's what I want you to start doing. Practice saying no without giving a 10-minute explanation. No is a complete sentence. You don't owe anyone a breakdown of why you can't make it to the party, why you need alone time, or why you're choosing to take a mental health day. Set that boundary, stick to it, and watch your peace expand. And listen, people might not like it at first. They might push back, but that's okay. Protecting your peace sometimes means dealing with a little discomfort in the short term so you don't end up resentful and drained in the long term. The people who really value you will respect your boundaries, and those who don't, well, that tells you everything you need to know. Next, let's talk about a boundary that's become increasingly important in today's world. The one between you and your digital devices. Social media, news feeds, endless notifications, they're all designed to keep you hooked and, let's be honest, frazzled. We live in a world where we're constantly bombarded with information, comparisons, and unrealistic standards. Social media can be a great tool for connection, but let's not pretend it doesn't come with a price. It's hard to protect your peace when your brain is constantly absorbing other people's highlight reels or doom scrolling through the latest disaster. The thing about social media is that it's a double-edged sword. While it can keep us informed and connected, it can also pull us into this never-ending cycle of comparison and FOMO. You see everyone's vacations, engagements, promotions, and perfect avocado toasts, and suddenly your life feels, well, less than. It's a mental trap, and you have to consciously step out of it. So what's the solution? A digital detox. And no, I don't mean quitting the internet altogether. I'm talking about creating a healthier relationship with your online world. Unfollow the accounts that make you feel inadequate. Set screen time limits and follow them. Schedule social media breaks. And for the love of your mental health, stop checking your phone first thing in the morning and right before bed. Instead, start your day with intention and end it with relaxation. This is your life, not a never ending episode of keeping up with literally everyone. Trust me, your mind will thank you for creating that space. You'll start to notice that without all the noise, you can actually hear your own thoughts again. And here's the kicker. You'll realize just how much more peaceful your life is when you're not constantly plugged into the matrix of everyone else's business. Okay, I know I've been talking a lot about protecting your own peace. But here's the thing. Self-care isn't about isolating yourself in a bubble. We're social creatures, and part of our peace comes from being part of a supportive, uplifting community. Self-care doesn't mean you stop caring about others. It means you learn to give without depleting yourself in the process. The key here is balance. The key here is Sthirvana. You need to pour into yourself first so that you have the energy to show up for others in a healthy way. It's like they always say on airplanes. Put your oxygen mask on first before helping others. When you take care of your own mental health, you become better equipped to support the people you care about. But, and this is important, you can't pour from an empty cup. Community care is just as important as self-care. But the difference is that it's mutual. It's about being in relationships where there's a balance of give and take. You're not just the one doing the emotional labor, you're also receiving support when you need it. When you surround yourself with people who genuinely care about you, you won't have to question whether your peace is being protected. It will naturally be a part of your environment. It's time we move away from this all or nothing approach to self-care. You don't have to be a hermit to protect your peace, and you don't have to be a martyr to show up for others. The best relationships are the ones that enhance your peace, not disrupt it. Let's round this out by talking about something we don't give nearly enough attention to: self-compassion. A lot of us think self-care is about doing all the right things: setting boundaries, working out, eating healthy, meditating, journaling, having baths, etc. But what happens when you mess up? What happens when you slip up on all your good habits or make a mistake that knocks you off track? Here's where self-compassion comes in. Real self-care is about how you treat yourself when things don't go perfectly. You're going to have bad days. You're going to overwork yourself, say yes when you shouldn't have said yes, and forget to meditate sometimes. And that's okay. The key is to not beat yourself up over it. Self-compassion is treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding you'd offer a friend who's struggling. It's saying, you know what, I'm doing my best, and that's enough. You don't have to be perfect to deserve care. You don't have to always have your life together to protect your peace. Sometimes self-care is just giving yourself permission to be human. When you cultivate self-compassion, you create an internal space where peace can thrive. You're no longer at war with yourself. And once you're at peace internally, it becomes so much easier to maintain that peace in your external world. So what's the real takeaway here? It's about building a sustainable relationship with yourself. One that honors your needs, respects your boundaries, and embraces your imperfections. It's about showing up for yourself in ways that truly matter, through consistent daily habits, emotional awareness, and the ability to say no without guilt. Protecting your peace means understanding that you are the architect of your own mental health. It's about making choices that nurture your well-being, even when they're tough, and surrounding yourself with people who support your journey rather than drain it. But most of all, self-care is about compassion. Compassion for yourself when you mess up, when things don't go according to plan, or when life feels overwhelming. Because at the end of the day, peace isn't about perfection. It's about learning to ride the waves without letting them pull you under. So if you take anything from this video, let it be this: your peace is worth protecting every single day. And the most powerful form of self care is the one that allows you to live in the alignment with what truly matters to you. Thanks for watching. If this resonated with you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Until next time, take care, be present, and work towards Sthirvana.